Hey everyone, this is Mario again, coming at you with another movie review. Now, this review is not an Oscar films review. The reason I'm doing this review is because the movie just came out recently and I don't want to wait a month to upload this review. By then, too many reviews of it will be out. So, I decided to do it. I just watched the movie. It was a bootleg version, but got it at worst previews from a link. Another thing I got with Real Player, but I just finished watching it, and that movie is The Grey. Now, the reason I decided to do it this way is because I, like a lot of you people, did see Matt's vlog yesterday and him ranting about the ending, which that got me thinking maybe I should watch the thing, because I had been thinking about seeing it in theaters. After watching it, I'll say I'm going to still go see it in theaters, because the bootleg copy was pretty good, but it just makes me want to actually see the movie in a theater, maybe with an audience. So I guess you can tell from that I enjoyed the movie. But there is one thing about that, I will talk about the ending when I get to it. Now, of the cast, the only person I recognize is Liam Neeson. Other members of the cast are Frank Grillo, Dermot Mullaney, Dallas Roberts, Joe Anderson. And the movie is directed by Joe Carnahan, which he directed the movie like A-Team, Smoking Aces, and Ark, which I have not heard anything good about those, but this movie, I thought his direction was okay. It's based on, the screenplay is done by Joe Carnahan and Ian Mackenzie Jeffers, based on one of his short stories called Grey Walker. Now, as you can guess, the plot of the movie is that Liam Neeson's character named John, he works in Alaska, killing wolves that threaten an oil drilling team. And the last day on the job, he writes a letter to his wife, and then he plans to commit suicide. Now, from that, we wonder, why is he going to commit suicide? And it spends about the first 10 to 12 minutes of the movie setting up this character, so as you can tell from that, he's going to be the main character, if the trailers weren't enough. But it makes you could tell from this that he no longer has his wife, and they never state what it is until the final part of the movie, which I'm not going to spoil. But let's just say I guessed totally wrong when I made a guess. I thought she left him, but that's all I'm going to say about that. Well, the job is completed, so they're going home on a plane during a blizzard. Something happens, the plane crashes, only a handful of men survive, and yes, that's Odie. Yes, we couldn't get a real wolf, so we got the next best thing. It'd be funnier if he was howling. Ow! But a handful of them survive, and as we see in the trailer, Liam Neeson's character takes charge and says they gotta make a fire. And one thing I will say is that one of Matt's fears about the movie I can put to rest in that the majority of the movie is actually a survival movie. So the trailer didn't lie in that respect. One thing the trailer lies about is that of Liam personally fighting the wolves, like how we see in the trailer. I'll get to that later though. But the movie is basically what the trailer suggests it is, a survival film. Now, the majority of the film is that they are trying to get to civilization or get picked up, and they're being chased by this pack of wolves, which Liam explained to them that gray wolves usually have a large territory, and for the most part they'll leave humans alone unless they're close to the den. So as you can figure out, they're trying to get away from the den, and that's what the majority of the movie is. But the wolves keep chasing them. So with that, it makes you wonder: are the wolves chasing them out of their territory, or is there another reason why the wolves are chasing them? Which that's all I'm going to leave there. If you guys already know from Matt's video, you probably can take a guess why they're chasing him, but I'm not going to spoil it. And of course, we do actually see a wolf get killed in this movie. That's actually in the movie, and I actually thought the scene was funny because they eat the wolf. And of course, some of the banter, like they're talking about the wolf, like it tastes like shit. Yeah, dog shit. Yeah, I prefer cats. I know it sounds bad for me, but it's just from the banter between them, it's a sexual joke. And I will admit, it got me to laugh. And as you can probably guess, as they go on, person after person falls. So I guess a Queen song would be appropriate to hum while this movie's going on. And another one gone, another one gone, another one bites dust. Hey, he's gonna get you too. Another one bites dust. Yeah. And now with the ending, I will say the ending, when I first heard about it, I'm like, what, really? That's the end of the movie? That's how they're going to end the movie, and they're going to show it in the trailer. That's kind of cheap. Well, I will say is, after actually watching the movie and see how it's built up to the ending, it doesn't bother me, but I think they should have gone with a different ending. It's not like the ending to Insidious, I'm not afraid of you, where you just want to slap the character. It makes sense. I just wish that how I would have done is I would have continued the ending and actually gone a definitive ending, because I know even the after credits scene where it shows the aftermath of before fade to black, it's still open to interpretation, so it's not a direct ending. It's one of those artsy-fartsy endings. But for me, it's not an ending that ruins the movie. It's just they should have chose a different ending. And from what I hear, some of the interpretations of the ending is that it's death, which I can see that, but like I just said, they should have gone with a different ending. Like, with how they're building up with the wolves in the territory, what they should have done is actually do what you think was going to happen from the trailer, and then have the wolves back off and walk off, and maybe like a helicopter find them. That's what I would have done, but for what it is, it's still interesting. Especially since the last couple minutes of the movie, you actually find out, for one, what happened to his wife. Two, you really feel for the guy. Because as the movie goes on, you really do feel for Liam Neeson's character. I mean, you feel for him at the beginning because you're like, why is he going to commit suicide? What could he have done? One thing you never find out about his character, his past, other than he was married, is we never find out why he's skilled with guns, so why they would have hired him, and why he's apparently good at hand-to-hand combat. It's left to interpretation. I'm thinking he's probably like Rambo, a guy who was in the military, had to leave for certain reasons, and this is kind of the only type of work he can get now. Because one of the things he mentions is that most of the people up there are, as he calls them, assholes. And they even mention after the plane crashes is that a lot of them are probably not going to be missed anyway, so they're like the people that, like, maybe the immediate family members might miss them, but a majority of people are going to be like, who cares about them? So, but they never state anything specific, so it's not like in Alien 3 where you know what their crimes are, so it's kind of hard to like them. So you're like, it makes you wonder, what did they do? But I guess you could say it's open to viewer interpretation what each person did. Just like Liam Neeson's past is open. Because we only get a small snippet of his past other than his married life at the end, and it's a childhood flashback. And that's not really enough to answer of who he is. A little bit part of your childhood is not going to fully define your character. Liam Neeson's acting performance is great as ever. And as you guys know, I still haven't seen Taken. I will say this movie overall I thought was a little bit better than Unknown. Not a little bit. It was better than Unknown, although I will say Unknown has one thing over it, and that is its ending is actually a definite ending that actually works, and that everyone's not going to be like, you kidding me? Because you guys remember I like Unknown, and I thought that the ending, well, I didn't expect the whole thing coming. In retrospect, I'm like, I should have seen something like that coming. But I'm talking about the ending right before the credits, that's what I meant. Now, my rating for The Grey, if I give it a rating, I'll have to give it a 4.5 out of 5. The story was great except for probably going with an artsy-fartsy ending. The acting by Liam Neeson is magnificent. I will say, I hope next year's Oscars give him an Oscar nomination for this role, because that's how good his performance is. The other actors, they're not bad, but they're not that good. They're believable performances. At times, it's hard to tell what was CGI wolves. I mean, when it's light out, it's hard to. At night, it was hard to tell. But I think it was a combination of CGI wolves. And I know they did use some dead wolves because there's a PETA controversy. We gotta boycott The Grey. I'm really starting to hate PETA. I mean, I think animals should be treated humanely, especially if they're being raised to slaughter, but still, the way that PETA wants to go, I mean, they were protesting a fictional character because he wears a tanuki skin. But I could see why they would use the dead wolf. I thought it was a practical wolf, but it's a real wolf, eh? Hard to tell if they used real wolves for any of the outside stuff with the footage I saw, but if they didn't, I have to ask why. You guys, would you film this in a snowy location? How hard is it to get wolves? I mean, I'm sure there's some place that has wolves that they use them in films. Is it easier to do it? I mean, for the ending, I know you could probably could have done a combination of them, like get wolves, like do CGI wolves for the scene where you don't want to hurt the wolf, maybe a practical model, but not that hard to get real wolves. But that's just not really like a big complaint. It's just saying something that I wish they had done. Like I said, 4 out of 5. If you're hesitant about the movie, I hope this review kind of puts your mind at ease. Remember, the majority of the movie is good. The ending, it's okay. But it could have been better. The ending could have been better. It would have had a higher rating if the ending was better. Now, as for the title, I forgot to talk about the title. The title's called The Grey, and with how it's going, I think it's an allegorical title because he's kind of like a wolf himself, the way he acts, which is why I kind of interpret him, his past kind of be like a Rambo-ish past. So he did not want to actually fight the wolves physically, he just wanted to get out of the territory, but when he has no choice. It's unlike Donkey Kong.